Let's get started. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today, our webinar, for a conversation with our residential house parents. My name is Sherry. I take care of the residential houses at ABC. And then today we're joined by two of our returning house parents. And I think it would be really meaningful for you to hear directly from them about what daily life actually looks like inside of our residential houses. So today we have first Janae. She's the house parents for our residential house supporting student at Cecina Memorial High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then her husband Lyndon is also with her as our residential house parents. And we also have Demar. She is the house parents for our residential house for students at Calvary Day School in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And Demar's husband, Christian, is also one of our house parents. And so both families have hosted with us before, and they're returning again this year. So so first, Janae and Demar will each like introduce themselves, and then give you an introduction of our residential homes, of their homes. Then we will move to a panel conversation. I will ask them questions about daily life, how they support the students, in terms of like communication, academics, their lives. And then if you have any questions, you can also put it in the chat box, or you can, just turn on your microphone or raise your hand and ask the questions. So with that, let's get started. Um, so Janae and Demar, does any one of you want to go first with the introduction?
I I guess I can go first. Hi, I'm Mar. We Me and my husband have been at the ABC house here in Winston for the past year. Um, so we've just been doing this the 1 year, and it has been great. We've really enjoyed getting to be with. We had 4 boys in this house. Um, and we've just really enjoyed the experience, and want to keep doing it. So we're definitely excited to have um, new returning student and new students this coming year, or coming school year. And yeah, I don't know if you want me to go ahead and do like a tour of our
Yeah, we
house.
can do a little tour, and then we would also like to hear a bit more about you and Christian.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've we've been married for almost 9 years. We don't have children um, as of yet, but we really have a heart for kids. And when this opportunity came to us, we were skeptical at first because we don't have a lot of hands-on experience with children, but we prayed about it, and we have a really good community of just support, and we were really encouraged to pursue this, and so we did, and it's been paying off really well. We got to establish good relationships with our students, um, and I think it'll be very much long term, which has been great. Um, my husband is unfortunately not able to be in this meeting. He works full time. He's an electrician, and he's working right now. I am a stay-at-home mom now. um, and it has worked out really well for me doing this because I can focus a lot more on the boys, on the kids living with us. Um, we are really um, up for almost anything really. We became sort of soccer mom, soccer dad for the boys that were with us. We were able to go to and from, give them rides to gyms, to parks, to meetings, which was really fun, really a full time kind of thing. But it was really valuable time with the boys. And we're glad that our schedule allows for that. And we also were encouraged. Go to church every Sunday, and that was something that we talked with the boys about from the beginning, and they were willing and able to go with us. So it was very much a family dynamic that we had at home. So anything that we could support each other with, we did, and we did it together. So that was fairly fun.
Yeah, and Demar, I know you're of the house. To start there and then just give us like a look of like how the house is like.
All right, yeah, this is our favorite part of the house. It's a big screened-in porch. We've added a TV for um, good fun. We have a great backyard with lots of animals. And this is our living area, which works so well for um, being able to meet and to have movie nights, things like that. We also have our kitchen, which is spacious, good, and our dining area, which can get a little rowdy with a lot of boys. Um, we have, this is one of the bathrooms, which is very spacious for the students. And then we have one of the um, sleeping areas for the students and another one here. And I've made sure to clean everything out after the boys left, just so they can be ready to put back when our new students arrive. So, is that good, Sherry?
Okay, yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Demar. And then I see you've um maintained the house really well. I'm glad we are able to see like the backyard. I know you're always there when
Yeah.
we meet. So it's definitely a fun part for the students to hang out at the house. So let's go to Janae. Hi, Janae.
Hi. So I'm Janine Duldulao. We will be a returning house parent. So we have been here for around a year. I have my husband and my 6 years old daughter with me here in the house. We're from the Philippines. So when we first came here last year and this opportunity was given to us, at first I'm really not sure because, we'll be handling kids. And in this house, we have 8 kids, 2 boys and 6 girls. So that's a lot. So at first, I'm really not sure if we will be, a good house parent with all of those kids and stuff. But then my husband told me that I think we will be, fine and everything because both of us know how to cook. So since our main task is to cook for the kids, so we are cooking a cooked dinner during the school days, and then during the weekends we cook lunch and dinner, and especially if we don't during the school breaks. Okay, and then um yeah, so we usually alternate the cooking since after we're also teachers, by the way, so I'm also teaching at Cecina. So I think that's an advantage because the students are also going to Cecina, so they already know. Some of them are even my students in the class. So and then the teachers also, if they knew that I am their house parent, there are some reminders for the kids. They usually just send me an email directly, and then I will follow through with all of those reminders for the kids. My husband is also a teacher, but in a different school, together with my first grade daughter. So in this house, since we have a lot of kids, so we have one bedroom at the first floor, and then 3 bedrooms here in the second floor. So we have 2 bedrooms for the kids, which I think I can show you in a while, but I'm using a laptop right now, so probably I need to navigate that one. So right now I am in our master's bedroom, and then in the attic, we also have there 2 beds for the kids. So all in all, we have 8. So the boys stay at the first floor because the room there has its own bathroom, and then the girls will stay here in the second floor and then the attic, and then they also have their own bathroom. So when it comes to the main responsibilities of managing the kids, I we usually ask them after school, how's school, is there anything new or you would like to share. And most of them really shares funny things that happened in school, or sometimes if they're really frustrated, we're just here to listen to them. And then for the cooking part, because I think that's the majority of our challenge at first, we make sure that before we go to the grocery or to shop for any needs for the house every Saturday, we list down everything. So we have a list of what we will be cooking from Saturday to the next Saturday, so that we are sure of what are the ingredients we need to buy, so that we don't have to go back and forth to the grocery from Monday to Friday, since we also have our full-time jobs. So it also, in a way, because of that, we save time, and then we're also trying to save, of course, the budget, and look for the things that the kids also want. So because sometimes we try different things for their snacks, and some other stuff that they would like. And then I think one of the things that probably made it a very successful year for us is because most of the kids in our house are Asians. I think I have around 8, no, 6 of them are Asians. um we have 4 from Vietnam, we have 1 from Cambodia, 1 from Thailand, and then we also have 1 from Spain and 1 from Germany. So since majority of them are Asians, our probably what do you call this one? The condiments that we use and the food preference that we have are kind of similar. So that is why we're kind of really they usually like what we cook. It's just that because we have also I think one of the biggest challenge for us is some other food preference because we have a gluten-free student. So yeah, so his diet is gluten-free. So they told us about that one before we come here. So we tried to research about what is gluten-free and what are the things that we can, cook and what are the things that we cannot cook and stuff. And then as we go along, we ask the student for a certain item. Is this one gluten free for you? Because we will be using this one for our food and stuff. And eventually, we thought of we'll just buy everything that is gluten free. If we will be using flour, that will be gluten free. If we will be using the condiments, we always check if it is gluten free. And then for the bread, since we usually buy breads and other snacks for them, we will just buy a separate one for the kid that has the gluten free diet so that he can still enjoy the food and stuff. If I also cook pasta for the day, I also make sure that the pasta is gluten free so that we can still follow his diet. So I think that's one of the major things that we have encountered. And for the house, I think we can start. I'll just try to remove. I'm using a laptop, so wait, I'll to remove the background. So I'll be showing you mostly this house. This is my husband.
Hello.
And then,
Oh, so we just washed the beddings and uh the pillows, so they are still in the beds here. So
This is one of the rooms.
of the rooms that
So we have two
so
here.
this is for two kids. Then another one is this room.
This is in the second floor.
This is in the second floor. So this is the second room in the second floor that the students are using. So they have their closet. There are two beds and oh, so the previous student here add some curtains so they can block the sunlight since it's a very long daylight today. Then they have their own bathroom here. So and they are the one who is cleaning the bathroom, the students. And this is the one in the attic. So there are two beds here. So they have two beds. Then there's another room there, but they don't want to use the room here because it doesn't have a window. So they use the this part of the attic. So they use this as their closet.
mm,
Okay.
So that's for the most part. But then again, downstairs we have another bedroom for the kids. So the boys stay there. And then yeah, so that's the house. We also have of course the front yard, and then we have a separate garage. And then the kids also like to play some soccer and baseball in the backyard because it's kind of spacious as well. So that's the tour for
mm.
the house.
Okay, thank you, Janae. Yeah, so we're getting a question from Francesca in the meeting chat. I will get to that soon. So I know, Janae, you mentioned meals, since you just mentioned that. And then you talk about like how you take, students' dietary habits and preferences into account. I think maybe Demar, you can also talk about like the meal part, how the meal is handled at your house, and then the students' preferences and dietary restrictions.
Yeah, so we did have one student with a legume allergy, and we also, like Janine, took that into account, um, making sure that I was Googling, um, what are what is considered a legume. So right at the beginning of the year, I made, I think, beef with uh, green beans mixed in, and I was serving, and he came, and he's like, "Green beans are legumes." I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious?" And there was a little bit of a freak out, but I resolved it. I had something else available that I could make him, and that's what he ate. And I just like noted things down. After that, that was, I think it was the first week that I was here. But after, it just became very natural to keep that in mind, and just remember what could trigger his allergy. So yeah, very much like Janine, just making sure whenever I was buying things and making the plan for the week of what I was going to make, keeping that. I also had one student that did not like any type of seafood, so we abstained from having seafood at home. Um, he just wouldn't eat it, and because there's so many of us, I have to make big batches of food, so it was much easier to um, make something that would agree with everybody else. Um, and then, um, yeah, for me, I cooked breakfast every morning and um, dinner every evening. And then lunch, I made sure that there's always things in the fridge and the pantry for them to make themselves a sandwich or um, like noodles, things like that, which they preferred to do for lunch whenever they were home, like during the weekends or during um, breaks from school. Um, and then they were welcome to pack themselves lunch for school as well, which some of them did. So, but for me, it was I got up with them every morning, cooked a good breakfast, and having dinner every night around the same time. And that was big for us to be able to be together during those times. So, yeah, keeping with what Janine was saying about budget, trying to figure that out, especially with having so many boys, and a, a lot of them being very active. Um, it was a lot of keeping track of what was at home, if they did have a lot of snacks that week. And, that was kind of something I had to keep on top of. We did come to a point where, like, they really liked orange juice in the morning, and they would serve themselves, and I'd have to tell them, okay, the orange juice is for the week, so once it's gone, it's gone. So we have to be kind of conservative on how much we serve ourselves, how much, because we're not going to have enough for the rest, So things like that were helpful to me and to them. So they weren't like, oh, we're missing this, we're missing that. well, we have to be more aware of each other and what we're taking. So, yeah, that was my experience with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you both for the questions on the meals. I think, what the students eat is what, the parents, the students and agencies really care about. It's a big part of our like livings when they're here. So let's go to transportation. So Francesca asked about can you two let us know something about transportation during the school time, but also for extracurricular activities? Do you help the students with transportation, or do they use public transportation or Uber, for instance, for sports practices?
So I'll go. So there's not much of public transportation where we live. Um, there is, it's not very accessible. It's always behind, things like that. But it did help that we live right across the street from school. So during the good months, like good weather months, they walked um, to school in the mornings and walked back um, in the evenings. During the winter, I did take them because a lot of them come from warmer weather places, and they were really struggling in the mornings. So I did take them to school during the winter. During practice, whenever it was a school practice, um, they did go for themselves, or they made good friends and had rides pick them up. Whenever it was out of school or something that they weren't able to get rides for themselves, like from friends. We did ask them to let us know in advance, so that we were able to be here and were able to do and offer them the rides. Um, so that was something big. We told them, we are able to do this. You have to tell us with time. So then we offered them that. Some of them took Ubers maybe once or twice for certain things, but other than that, we were available, or with time, or they had friends give them rides, which we knew who the friends were too. So that was something big as well, that we talked to them about from the beginning. We want to know who you're with, who they are, and their friends would come here and would we would get to know them, so that we knew they were being safe. Um, but yeah, that was it for us.
Mhm.
Okay, so for our transportation, since when we got here, we only have a smaller car. Mr. Hegarty, our director for the international students, the international program at Cecina, he's the one picking up the kids and taking them to and from school. But then if there are extracurriculars, like for example, we had two students that had swimming practices and games. My husband will take them to the swimming practice. That's usually around 6 to 7 in the evening. And then if they also have the games, we also take them to the games. Sometimes the students will ask us to take them to the mall or some other or their friends. If we are available, just like the MAR, we always tell them to tell us in advance so that we can, have the schedules, because in our house we have 8, and if they have all of this, things going around at the same time, it's really difficult for us since we have a smaller car. So we usually have if they have schedules, we check if we can take them there. we usually take them there during the weekends, but in the weekdays, our priority is more on their extracurricular if they are into sports, because we have two, like what I've said, for swimming, and then we also have two which are also in cheerleading at Cecina. So we usually take them there after school and then also pick them up. So yeah, but then this school year we talked about the transportation with the ABC, and since we are having some difficulties, some problems with our car, we have managed to get a bigger one. So we're planning to be the one taking them to and from school starting this school year. So that's our transportation.
Okay, great. Thank you, Janae. So the next question that we got in the meeting chat from Andrea, can you share a typical day during weekdays and also weekends for the students?
Well, I go first. um, so we during the week we get up fairly together because we do have breakfast together, and they go to school, come back around 3, um, and from there they usually start with their homework. We make sure that they're keeping up with that, um, and during that time starting dinner, um, or finishing up dinner. Um, we have dinner together at around 5 to 6, depending on if they're away at practice or they're coming back from a game. And when Christian comes home, um, but 5 to 6 is our usual time to get together for dinner. And from there, we're available to either um, just keep on talking, which we had a lot of good just conversation around the table, or they're able to do go to the rooms. They do a lot of gaming, which once their schoolwork is done and able, um, we let them kind of wind down and do their own thing. We do have this really nice back porch, which was the meeting place for a lot of them. Uh, they're also able to have friends over sometimes, which would they would take advantage of that. Um, and after that, lights out at 10 um, during weekdays, and lights out at 11 during weekends. Um, During weekends, a lot of them made a lot of good friends, so they were able to hang out either outside of the house or here as well. Um, and then again, curfew for being back in the house would be 10. Um, and we would have to know who they were with. But fairly easy for us. Whenever weekends came, we did do a lot of things together. So we would go play mini golf or go to the mall just to walk around. Um, we offered going to the movies, things that we could do as a whole. Um, and about once a month or twice a month, we would go to uh, eat outside of the house together, which they really enjoyed. Um, but that was our routine for the most part. Nothing very big. It was just trying to live around each other and get to know each other very well. And yeah.
For our house, the typical day for the weekdays, they usually get up it depends, sometimes around 6. And then they prepare their own breakfast. So we have a variety of different food for them that they can prepare. Since we are both teachers, so we usually go out of the house earlier, and then Mr. Hegarty, our director for the international students, will pick them up around 7:30 so that they could be at Cecina at around 7:40. And then after school, they will eat lunch at school, and then after school, that's 2:45, Mr. Hegarty will also pick them up. And then in the house, you have a variety of snacks that they can also eat, because I noticed that after school they're really, really hungry. So we make sure that we have several different items for them to choose to eat after school. But since we're a little bit home a little bit late, because we still have some things to do at school, so we are in the house around 3:30. Most of they are already there. They're just in their rooms, and then we start cooking. We usually have dinner around the same time, 5 to 6, but usually around mostly 6 o'clock, and then we will be eating dinner. And most of our kids would just like to stay in their rooms because they are really comfortable with their roommate. And then from time to time, I'm just asking them if they need something else or what's happening in school, or I'm reminding them if there is a major exam coming up, since I am also a teacher, so I know the schedules in the school, so I can remind them ahead of time and such. There's That's majority of the weekdays. For the weekends, some of them have practices, some have games, so we take them to the games and such. But then most of them are just really just wants to just stay at home. Some of them will just from time to time will ask us to take them to the mall or to some other places. And then if there are some of them also wants to go to the backyard and then just play some soccer, or just hang out, because we bought a kind of like a swing, so they just want to hang out there and just enjoy reading some books and stuff. And then during the breaks, during the Christmas break, we went to an indoor playground with them, and they enjoy that one. We also went to the Indianapolis Zoo during one of the breaks. So I think having those certain days during the breaks that wherein you can bond together, that's really good, and I think they really love that. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Janae. So I think we covered, most of the daily life part. We have a question from Doi. I think I can answer this one. So, what would be the best way to stay connected with Sherry and the host parents after the session? Could we potentially contact via email? So you can get connected through your regional ABC representative. And if you don't have one, I will also put my email here just so you can email me. Um, and yeah, so as I mentioned, we just covered, daily life. And one thing that we haven't mentioned, I know like both Demar and Janae kind of mentioned like, curfew time and then bedtime. So how do we help them, manage things like study time and then like, make sure they get their homeworks done and go to bed on time?
Yeah, so we have their report cards, and we have access to their grades. So whenever we saw something slipping, um, we would talk to them together. So Christian and I would sit down. Hey, we need to talk with you about this. Um, what's going on? Is there any help that we can give, or are you just, for the most part, slacking? and that was usually it, and then they would pick it back up. So
João
I
está
think
dizendo que
just
a
being
máquina
reminded.
dele e a que está no mezanino também precisam da atualização do Adobe.
But for the most part, I think they're really good about keeping up with their schoolwork, with their tests. I rarely had to get on anybody about it. They were really, really like good about doing the work that they had to do. So, yeah, I didn't have much of a hassle with that.
Yeah, for me, a majority of them are also, good in terms of the academics. We can also see their grades, and then the school also sent, report cards, and then yeah, so for us, we just remind them for just like what I've told you earlier that since I know the schedules for the final exam or the end of the quarter, a week or two before that, I always just remind them that it will be the end of the quarter in just 2 weeks. So just make sure that you have everything, you have turned in everything that you need and stuff. Then most of them are really responsible with their studies. I also have one student who have aside from the the usual schedule at Cecina, he also has an online class in Spain. So we usually see him in the dining area, and even weekends he has some online classes. So most of the kids are really responsible. Now, if there are some days or parts wherein I receive an email from a teacher, I will just talk to them one on one, and then ask them what happened, and what are they feeling right now, and how ask them what are their plans to make up for the grade or the missing assignment and stuff. And then after that, they will be able to catch up, and then still make a good grade after. So I think it's just the constant reminder, I guess, for the kids, because most of them are really responsible. So
Okay. Thank you, Janae and Demar. I want to talk about emotional support a little bit. So what are like some challenges that your students have faced, when they first arrive or during their time there? And then what have you done? How do you help them to since they're all international students, how do you help them to, settle in and do well in life in schools?
Yeah, for us, we just made it a priority to really get to know them and really show them that we cared for who they are as a person, and we really went hard on establishing um, being together and working as like a family dynamic at home, and really rooting for one another, um, especially because we had different nationalities, and sometimes that like culture differences came into play. So we're like, no, we want to be good, and we want to respect each other. We want to um, be around each other well. Um, and I think that created a good place where they felt comfortable coming to us with any problems that they had, with any um, situations that came up for them. They were very open about coming to us. And yeah, like Janine was saying, sometimes their grades would go down, and we would talk to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're just having a bit of trouble here," um, and they were just sad or a little down, and then it'd be like, okay, we're here, we want to support you. And just the encouragement, I think, uh, worked really well for them. Um, and then there were times where, sometimes they just want to do their own thing. Um, and we would just offer them all the same amount of support, the same amount of opportunities to uh, talk and get close. So I think that helped a lot as well. Just not having favorites, or not um, doing more for one than we did for the other. And eventually, I think that helped with knowing that, yeah, they all were appreciated. Um, so yeah, just being there, and being available to them for that. I know that a lot of them talked with their parents um, fairly, um, yeah, fairly, probably every day. It's different with having somebody physically there. Um, so never really intruding, but just being available, I think helped.
Yes, so I agree with that one. So you really need to make sure that you build a good relationship with the kids. I noticed that when I first came here, and then of course, they are really, really shy at first because they don't know you. So you, as the house parent, you should be, you should show them that you're really interested in them, that you really want to build this relationship. You need to, ask them, fun questions, I guess, just more of about their life. And yeah, I think that will really make, the connection, and then that will probably ease, the shyness, the awkwardness that they usually feel, because they are international students. It's their first time here, and they are, we need to understand that they are really kind of scared, I guess. With, they don't know what will be happening. They don't have their parents here. They don't have their friends here. So you really need to be that, that person that they can trust. And then as for me, I really made a boundary that when I'm in school, I'm their teacher, but when I'm here at home, I am their house parent, so they can share with me anything that they would like, and then sometimes I will hear them, talking to each other and having those conversations, and sometimes they will ask me for some, opinions about some stuff, and just getting that relationship. I think you need to be the first one to talk to them as well, because in our case, most of our kids are really shy. So if you want to really get to know them, you need to make sure that you can, talk to them, and then um probably learn a couple of things about their culture, because if you have different nationalities, and then of course there are cultural differences, so you would like them to see that you're really interested in them, not only in them as students, but also in them as, as a kid, as a person. So I think that really helps a lot. And yeah, during this in school, I usually maintain that I am their teacher. But then if they still need something in school or something came up, they can still, come to me and tell me any, problems that they have encountered. So yeah, and then probably just when you see them, just ask them, how are they feeling today? Do they have anything in particular, any plans or stuff? And then if you can share a couple of your favorite things as well, maybe you can, see that you have some common things, So yeah, that will be a really great help.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I also, do check-ins with both of you, and I've heard stories about how you support the student, and then I think you guys are really there for them, when they have a challenge in life. So Janae and Demar, can you each share a story about one student whose journey from their first day to now that really stayed with you?
I have lots of stories, but I think for us, just okay. One of them, we love all our kids were great, and we have so many good memories. But I will talk about one in particular. Just is very, I wouldn't say shy, but a little reserved. But he was always willing to interact and very friendly with, I think, with everybody that he met with, just becomes really, really good friends with. Um, and so from the beginning to the end, he like the transition of just making like long lasting relationships was great to see, but also for him to come to us at the end and be like, I don't want anybody else. um, I want to come back with you guys. And even after he left, texting Christian during Father's Day, he texted him and he was, Happy Father's Day, sir. Just things like that that really show how much it meant to spend the year with us. It was very special. We did not see it coming. I mean, we had a great time, but just like for them to remember certain things like that, um, it's just been really, really nice. I will share one more. One of our kids had a girlfriend, a different kid, but he had a girlfriend at the beginning of the year, and in the middle of the year, they broke up, and we had to console him. And this is the very first time we're dealing with any of this. I've never had to deal with, like, not even for me, breakups during high school. But he was so open and like ready to receive our input and just be very vulnerable. Um, and it was very sweet to then, after he recovered and things moved on, he was like, "You were right, life does get better." But things like that, that for them seemed like such a big deal. And for us being older, just taking it in like, oh my goodness. But just um, a lot of good moments of growth, I think, is what really sticks with us.
For me, I think yeah, we have a lot of memories as well. One of the things that probably I can think of is that when one of my students, she has this problem in school, some grades slipping up and such. Because you have built that kind of relationship, I was able to talk to her one on one, a heart to heart talk, and asking her what happened, what do you feel, what do you think, and stuff and such. And then she's really, was able to open up to me about the all of the burdens that she's feeling, not only in school but also back at home. She's kind of That's the time that I have learned that she's kind of pressured with so much things going around her. And then she's also, trying to compare herself with others, because she's not really that kind of she's kind of really reserved, unlike other kids here that, really energetic, jolly, and can have several friends, but then she's really having a hard time during that period. And then um I think that's a good thing that I have learned about that one, because it made me, be more understanding of the things that they are going through, and that, they are all different. So this kid is kind of really reserved, really shy. Other kids are really, outgoing, and, can, build friendships with just one day. And and then it made me also realize that you don't need to judge, anyone. You just need to make sure that you understand them. You need to know the reasons why they are doing this kind of stuff. And you will be able to learn how to probably love them more. I think it's a good thing that they can see that, or they can feel that they can share a lot of things to me. So that is why they were able to open up. And another, I think, moment is, we when we took one of the kids to the airport when they're leaving. And then she said to us that this is a very um good experience for her, because at first she does not know how to cook. But then after her stay here, because she wants to eat something as a snack or as a breakfast, she was able to learn. And then she's really happy that we are teaching her, stuff like this. And then her term actually during that time is, "It feels like home." So she really likes to be here. And yeah, I think building that kind of relationship with the kids is really an amazing feeling. It's really fulfilling for us as house parents to know that they appreciate us, and that they love here, and they want to go back. So yeah.
Thank you, Janae. Very well said, and Damar as well. So we're almost at time here, and I think it's wonderful that we end with, these two warm stories. And then think it was really like genuine conversation, and we really get a real sense of like what it means to have a house parent who truly shows up, for those students. And we still have spots left at Janae and Demar's house for fall 2026. So if you're interested in the program, if you have student that might be interested, please contact your ABC regional ABC representative, or I've also left my email in the chat, in the meeting chat. Thank you so much again, Janae and Damar, for your time, and I really for joining us. And then thank you all for being here. And then we hope to welcome, you or your student into our ABC residential house. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.